Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin, and I'm so grateful you all have taken a moment out of your day to spend it with me, your guide to all things crypto, DeFi, and we're going to be exploring again tonight into the base ecosystem and the base network. Just doing a little audio check here, but what's up, everybody? And again, welcome back to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin. I'm a teacher, a father, and a DeFi investor. And you have made it to Dad's DeFi Space. Late Monday night market update. It is 9 p.m. And yesterday, Bitcoin just reclaimed the 50-week EMA, the SMA, the 50-week SMA, which is our line in the sand. And is this just a bull trap? Or is this the start of a quarter four liftoff? And later in tonight's episode, we're going to look at ZORA and some of the top small content creator coins that I am supporting and I am looking at. And we're going to talk a little bit more again about farming this possible base airdrop. And then towards the end of the stream, I would really like to take a look at some TAO yields, subnets, and kind of a staking strategy that I've been exploring over the last few days. But before we go any farther, I'd like to give a big shout out to some of the content creators on ZORA who are really, really bringing it home. And that would be none other than Gcash, 8-Bit, of course, Crypto Cat, and so many others out there that we are going to be talking about a little bit later in the stream. And towards the end, if you want to, you can always throw some questions in the chat and we'll take it at the end. Now, remember, none of this today is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and never ever invest more than you can afford to lose in this space. So let's take a look at just general market sentiment before we go any farther into the stream. As you can see On CoinMarketCap, we are sitting at around a 31, still in the fear range, but we have been on the uptick the last few days. We hit as low as 20, I don't even know what the bottom was, 23, 24 on the fear and greed index, maybe even lower than that a few days ago. What was that? I missed that. Excuse me, 18 and 15. So we went all the way down to extreme fear. And this is when, well, as long as it's not the bear market, this is the time of the cycle we need to be holding on, not selling at a loss. We sell into strength, we don't sell into weakness. Now, taking a look at, let's see now, the altcoin season index. Excuse me. So the altcoin season index is sitting right around 30. We are pretty much back into Bitcoin season, and we have been for quite a bit lately. Okay. Now, what's interesting, um, talking about all this stuff is just a couple days ago, many people out there were saying this is the end of the bull run, right? This was around the same time we got this massive 1000% pump over the last, couple months of Zcash. And you saw the rise of the decentralized DEXs, Aster and Avantis. Coinbase's sponsored one. And generally speaking, altcoins performed terrible. We would all be lying if we didn't say most of us need to stick probably in Bitcoin. But that goes to show. Remember, our model here is we utilize DeFi and SocialFi to amplify our Bitcoin stacks. And you should consider that too. If you're interested in finding more out about this, please check out our free Telegram group. There's so much good stuff going in there. I share DeFi plays, leverage trades. And if you want to follow along with what I'm doing on the base app and what we are doing excuse me, on with our tau yields and so much alpha, please consider joining. Now, what I would like to do is take a look at just, excuse me, a couple news reports I've been looking at. Number one, specifically, it's right here. Oh, we're on the wrong monitor. Sorry about that, guys. We'll talk about that token here in a little bit. And ZORA. Where's that article? Ah, here we go. So, does everyone know what we're taking a look at? Leverage in the market has gotten quite a bit more even. If we take a look on the daily, pretty much even between longs and shorts. With the liquidations that have occurred over the last few weeks, a lot of leverage has been completely, I mean, absolutely, completely washed out of the market. To be quite honest, this is a good thing, but at this point, we still need to be collecting information, making sure that we are not going to be the ones getting wrecked. But we don't want to look on the daily. We want to look at the 7 and the 30. And if I pull up the 7-day on Binance, you can see we have this huge liquidity zone around 107. That's why we've been fighting, getting above 106. We're about to hit it. So it's kind of interesting to see what happens. In fact, with the way leverage looks in the market right now, I'm actually considering adding to an Ethereum short that I'm not just going to share here, but also within our free Telegram group. But we'll take that one in just a minute. And I want to go over some of the general information that we have been looking at and talking about in the market. So you're looking at Dad's DeFi Space, our website. And this is our market report that went out yesterday. Now, these market reports usually come out weekly to bi-weekly. If the report doesn't come out that week, then the next week we're probably highlighting a yield source we're looking at, or maybe some SocialFi stuff on base. It's hard to say. But we do believe that this is going to be Bitcoin's time in the market, okay? Hold on one second. I don't know why my chat won't. Anyway, so our crypto market report this week is diving into Bitcoin's reclaim of the 50-week moving average. Again, as we said in the beginning, this is our line in the sand. If we break below this on the weekly, I will be out of almost all of my altcoins, and not financial advice, of course. I watched what happened last cycle, and I do not want to be a part of that this time. So what's interesting is over the last week, we have been defending the 50-week quite well, to be quite honest, and Bitcoin held the 50-week moving average. When I published this, we were currently hanging around 103. Shortly after this article, we took a huge pump up, and the thesis still stayed the same. We have to maintain support at 98K. The setup right now is we're actually going to be looking at a death cross. And if you take a look at the chart, right, I want you to think about this, right? In the crypto markets, momentum is everything. And momentum comes from attention. Okay. Most people out there, and I can be just as guilty, have short attention spans. So this market can move fast, right? A lot of times in this market, attention can be liquidity. Liquidity is the truth, but the problem is the truth is fleeting, and it can be here one moment and gone the next, and you'll never notice it missing. So what I would like to do now is take a look at the death cross and the 50-week moving average and what might be coming up with Bitcoin. So we're going to pop over here on the trading view chart, bring up Bitcoin. You're looking at the Bitcoin chart. We're at 106,666 right now. And remember, if there's any charts you would like me to take a look at, just throw that into the chat, please. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Just checking the chat real quick right now. Ethan. Okay. Right. Let's put on some tunes and let's look at some charts. All right. Good deal. So right now we are taking a look. Right now, as I was saying, Bitcoin is sitting at 106,666, or excuse me, not 666, 105,641. Our line to get back above so we can continue our bullish momentum and reclaim. Hopefully 112 is sitting right at 106,700, let's say. If Bitcoin can get support back above this area, we can regain this range between 106 and 112. We have to maintain that before we can make an attempt at 112. By the way, if you haven't realized, 112, 113-ish is basically our 50% fib levels are pushing up that way. I don't have it marked on the chart, but that's always a point of... it's always a point that either is going to act as major support or major resistance on the chart. You can see that all of our moving averages are about to converge there. And if we have a ride back down, we're probably going to get that death cross. But I want to show you something. The death cross is about to occur and the market drops. But usually once the death cross happens, the market rallies. death cross is about to happen. Looks like the market's starting to rally up. So we're going to have to watch this really closely. Is Bitcoin going to continue on to 112? Or are we going to revisit the lows? Again, watching my line in the sand at around 98.8. As you can see, we wicked down into this area around 99,000, 1, 2, and 3 times each time, getting a little bit higher back to, getting back to our lower range. Now, what you really need to be concerned about is we're not out of the woods yet. Bitcoin could easily drop down, wick down. This is no time to go max long in the market right now. It's just not. You have to use proper risk management in this space. Okay, proper risk management is absolute key. Now, we talked about the 50-week and this, and I want to bring up this chart so you can, these are my plays. Again, not financial advice, it's just what I am doing. And you're probably wondering, why are we looking at altcoins? Why are we not looking at Ethereum? Because right now, and really most any time, Bitcoin is king and the rest of the market follows Bitcoin. As you stay longer in this space, you start to realize this, and what you'll realize is by watching Bitcoin, you'll know what moves to make with your altcoins also. Now, again, our line in the sand is $98,000. 98.8 is mine. 103 was our 50-week moving average, which we have gotten back above at this point. And our major resistance zone and 50% level is 112. It says to 115, but I say 112 to 113. And then if we can get back above that area, it's smooth selling to 126. There's a little bit of resistance sitting right around 122 that I will keep an eye on. But look, as I said in our article, the bull lives above 98K and it will die below 98K. So that's how I'm going to play through this last phase of the bull run. I wanted to talk quickly about just some macro news before we go any farther. Number one, there's been a lot of fiscal developments in America, and this kind of coincided with the huge pump Bitcoin had the other night. First, the U.S. Senate is avoiding possible government shutdown. They may have an agreement. This will boost short-term risk sentiment, which is always good for the crypto markets. Think NASDAQ. And there's been a tariff dividend proposal. Check this out. Whoops, that is the wrong one. So President Trump, right, is saying there could be $2,000 payments to Americans coming from all these tariffs that have been occurring, right? He says it could also pay down the U.S. debt. I don't know. I have my doubts. Okay. Now, the bigger thing is, if the Trump administration truly decides to continue on with $2,000 stimulus payments, you just know that some of that money is going to trickle into risk assets such as Bitcoin. Now, before we get looking into some of our base and ZORA stuff, we can talk about some of our favorite creator coins. I would really like to take a look at some altcoins, starting with this one right here. Actually, before we go into altcoins, I got one more thing I talked about in my article I wanted to bring up, and I apologize for forgetting about this one, which is super important. And that is on-chain dynamics and the whale supplies. So a lot of on-chain data over the last month or so has revealed that long-term holders of Bitcoin They're distributing into the strength the market has shown. Hence, we have these huge dips. Exchange reserves are down over 2% over month. So there is distribution-like behavior with some of the old-time whales. Dormant wallets are reactivating, and that can suggest that some of the OGs in the Bitcoin place are starting to take profits this cycle. Usually the whales get out of the cycle early before retail, so that's always something to take into consideration. And again, not financial advice, but to me, the bullish path of Bitcoin is if we hold above 98, which we did, it is bullish. And even if we retrace, we still can be bullish as long as we maintain that range right down here at 98K. So let's now take a look at the Ethereum chart. You're probably thinking about taking a short one on this one. I actually want to go down to a really short time frame, adjust the chart. Now, as you can see, Ethereum is back above the 200 week and the 100 week 5-week moving average. Ethereum never went below, really. It's a little bit right here. It's 50 week. It has showed a little bit more bullishness than some of the other coins in the near term, or recently. But we had a massive pump up to 3360. We're at 3590 right now, and it's still in an uptrend. But at some point, I think we're going to retrace. So if we get back up here, and I may just go ahead and take some of it now around 3600. I'm going to short Ethereum. So let's go over to one of our favorite centralized exchanges. Of course, if you'd like to help support the channel, check out our links for Layer Bank and Blofin. Now, both exchanges are running deposit bonuses right now. Use our link in the description. But we're going to go, obviously, and you help support the channel too, which I know you all want to do that. Now, let's take a look at Layer Bank. You're looking at the Bitcoin chart. You can totally see how we're back above 50-week moving average. You can see our long position here. I've already taken over 70% profits out of this one, which was probably a mistake. I was playing quite conservatively. We are up, as you can see here. Whoops. $120% on our trade right now, which is awesome. If you want access to these trades before I take them, check out our free Telegram group before it ends up becoming gated. We got about 53 awesome folks in there right now, and we're all learning and navigating these markets together. But I want to take and add a little bit to my Ethereum short. So what I'm going to do, bring up Ethereum. Okay. Down just a teeny little bit on our trade. Pretty much even. I should have taken this a little bit ago before I started streaming. And what we're going to do is we are going to take a 25% of our position short on ETH. And I'm going to go ahead and take that now. And then I want to set it up closer to the top of the range, which was right around 36.6. So we're going to do 3,600. And if we get back up there, I'm going to go another 25% short. Actually, we're going to do 40% short. But that's only if we get back up in that area. Likewise, the Ethereum, in a sense, function as a hedge for our Bitcoin position. Layer Bank has been an excellent exchange for us to use for this, but sometimes I also like to use Blofin. I really like using their grid bot, trading trends in the market, but that will be another video for another day. Now, I want to start taking a look at some altcoin charts, and we can check all that out just here on Layer Bank. First, I want to take a look at a bunch on the base ecosystem. We just lost our light. That's great. All right. So on the base network, hold on one second. There we go. Hopefully that will reach barely. Not really. It does. All right. So, yeah. Whoa. That's too much. That's still way too much. Hold on. Let's readjust this. There we go. Much better. All right. So we're going to take a look at our trade and view charts because it'll be way easier to navigate. And I wanted to show you just a couple tokens that we have been following on the base network. First and foremost, you know that I'm going to bring up the Airdrop token. Airdrop had a massive pump just a few hours ago, all the way up to $1 and say 22, and then really 25 cents, which is big. That literally was about a 15 to 18% pump in just a couple hours, which is nuts. If you go to the daily chart on AERO, you can see we're back above all our moving averages, looking bullish. I'd love to see us get right back above this 136. And also, well, we're already back above 120, but 136 to 138, and then all the way up to the all-time high. Or in the near term, not the all-time high. The all-time high actually got all the way up to $2.32, but like say $1.60. Now we have our fib levels marked on our chart. I want to back up a little bit so you can kind of see some of our profit-taking points. $1.39, which we're actually getting up to, so it may take some AERO profits. Maybe some around $1.60, $1.76, $2.04 to $34, and that's kind of what we're looking at between here and the all-time high. But this right here is looking super, super bullish. Just gonna have to wait and see what Bitcoin does, because a chart like this is gonna follow Bitcoin. Now, I want to get away from altcoins just for a second and take a look at the total 3 chart. This is kind of the altcoin almost degen chart. We need to get back up. Well, we got back above the 200 week. Now we got to get, well, there's a death cross right there, and the 100 and the 50 moving averages. Now that's sitting right around 100, or excuse me, 1.04, 1.5 trillion dollars. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with this one, right? Actually, this one is looking super, super bullish, which is good for altcoins, but we're gonna again have to wait and see. If Bitcoin breaks below, like if Bitcoin breaks on the weekly below the 50 week, we lose 98K. You better believe that altcoins are gonna suffer. Now, next, I wanted to take a look at virtuals. I haven't talked about this one in a while. Super bullish on base blockchain, but you do realize it's had a absolutely massive pump recently. We're struggling to get back up to the $1.50 range. It's getting sold off like massively right here. So this has me concerned. It looks like we've hit kind of a wall in this area of $1.50 to $1.75, and I think we really need to pay attention here. I haven't sold any virtual yet, but if we get any pumps up in this range, I'm probably going to deleverage my virtual positions. I'm starting to take a look at some others, and we're going to talk about one of those others here now. And before we get talking about the base blockchain, I want to bring up a new coin that I've been looking at. Now, we just recently built a coin on Clanker. Now, Clanker is a dApp that was built on Farcaster. Right now, you're looking at our Farcaster account, dad's DeFi space.base.eth, and go over there, add us. I like to talk about my trades on the base network mainly. And we deployed a token in seconds over on Clanker that we have shared just recently. It's called Not Financial Advice Bear. There are not very many holders. It's only 2 days old at this point, brand new. But anyone within my community that wants to buy into our meme token, remember, not financial advice. This bear is a risky MFer. Now, here's the thing. Now, not financial advice bear is this guy. And the bear, he's cooked. Chain is base. Go find us over on Telegram. We have a public account. I will add it to the description. And here on Clanker, you can find our token. Oops. Well, I'll show it to you in a minute. Now, we did a deep dive into Clanker recently. Now, Clanker is a base layer 2 launch pad, and it's really redefining an aspect of what the creator economy is base is all about, right? So this allows people, in a sense, to create any kind of token they want, whether that be a meme, a community token, a DAO, whatever. It gives you a lot of options. And Clanker, in my opinion, has been just trending. It has had a huge surge recently after the integration into Farcaster. So I could see a correction, hence we might be positioning it to a little bit of this one. Not financial advice, of course. And the thing is that this token only has 1 million. The tokenomics look way better than, say, virtuals. Now, it's risky. And I think a Clanker, and ZORA for that matter, Clanker is like the pump.fun of base. You get a little bit more options to choose with the tokens you deploy. Now, the meta on Clanker is getting even better because of the relationship it's now sharing. Excuse me, hold on one second. With what everybody is sharing as far as, it gives creators, communities, and developers the ability to launch coins for followers, for fandoms, for fun, for any kind of project, but without the technical headaches, right? So this is the gist of how Clanker works. There are Farcaster bots that can help with research and trading, fee sharing once you create a token, right? And I want to show you some of tokenomic snapshots. So our token, less than 5%, is going to Dad's DeFi space. Now, half of it's going to be burned as far as the fees. 50% go into a liquidity pool. 1% goes to the platform, and 0.4% goes to me, the creator. Now, what's interesting and what I plan on doing is we have vested 10% of the entire token supply, and we're going to airdrop half of that over Christmas to anyone who purchases the token before the snapshot. Now, the snapshot more than likely is going to be on Christmas Eve, but follow us over on X, check out the Telegram group so you can stay up with that, or just follow us on Base App and ZORA, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. Now, what I wanted to do next is pivot, and we're going to take a look at what is so bullish with AERO recently. So Coinbase, yes, Coinbase, the American company, it is going to offer an ICO market for retail investors. These are initial coin offerings. Now, I do not have a lot of information on this yet, other than their very first sale is going to be the Monad Mainnet ARC token. The sale is going to start on this November 17th. It means it'll be accessible in 80 countries around the world, and this time including the United States, which is absolutely awesome. I don't know if I'm going to participate or not, Probably not, but I don't want to say no because I'm going to do a little bit more research first. But I thought everyone should be aware that this is super bullish for Aerodrome, and it's only going to add more and more alpha into the Coinbase and base layer 2 ecosystem. What's great about this is that you just know that they're going to integrate this into Aerodrome DEX, which adds more liquidity, which gives us all those juicy fees that we can use to stack more Bitcoin, because that's what we like: DeFi fees and social fi rewards. And that's how we're doing it right now. Maybe a little bit of leverage trading on the side. Now, I wanted to talk in this part of the video, and I've already made a deep dive into ZORA, but I wanted to talk about how easy it is to join ZORA, start making a little bit of creator income. So, and then as we get towards the end, I'll talk about some of my favorite content creators on ZORA, give them a little shout out in the live stream today. So you're looking at the ZORA app, and if you are interested in joining us over on ZORA, I will pop a quick link in the chat. And if anyone pops in, you can use this link to go follow us on ZORA to start creating your own stuff. Now, we have made probably just $200, $2 to $250 over the last month, doing nothing more than posting content over on ZORA. Okay. Now I want to go to home before we can even look at my account like last time. We're going to look at some of the different accounts on here. They got some really interesting ones. I love these 8-bit accounts. When it's way down here at the all-time low, I might buy a little bit of this one. Hold on to it a little bit. Right now, I'm just selling off a teeny little bit of my ZORA that's in my ZORA wallet. And we're going to buy just a teeny little amount of this coin. Awesome. Now, when you're on the ZORA app, there's a couple different functions we can use. Okay. First, we can go through the search function, and there's some different stuff you can look at. You can look at which tokens are trending. Right? Awesome. Ooh, we're going to talk about this guy in a little bit. This is one of the followers I really enjoy, A Crypto Cat. We'll talk about him in a minute. I know I've already spoken about 8-bit. Shout out to 8-bit Base. Excellent account to follow. Buy his token. That is a shameless plug. Crypto Cat too. And then they always are running programs where you can trade the ZORA stars. This is great for newcomers because a lot of these coins don't have a lot of liquidity, so you need to be trading very small amounts of them at a time. Pony Boy. I remember the Outsiders as a kid, right? Anyway, and then you can look at top accounts as far as creators. You can see us all right here. Top 20. We were sitting like 73 just a couple days ago. So I'd kind of like to take a look, see where we're placing. So hey, right around in here is where we were yesterday. Let's see if we're anywhere around here today. I can check the top 100. Does not look like it. I guess we got bumped. Yep. I do not see us. All right, let's check it out and see if we can find our account. And there we are. Plan on keeping this account for the duration of the cycle and the next cycle. I'm using it to post a lot of our most recent content. And breaking news, the Senate just passed the funding bill that could end the government shutdown in a matter of days. You might want to expect a pump because of that. But this account allows you to post videos, to post pictures,
whatever you want to interact with your fans. As you can see, this is what I posted right before our live stream. Looks like a few people purchased. All right, not many. Pennies. Let's do a little 40 cents purchase of our own. There you go. And who bought that sucker? Thank you, Taz. All right. And then if you look right below over search, they give a spot with your notifications. You can see all the people who've been buying my stuff. Thank you, Taz. Gloria Sans has been a great follower and a great supporter of my stuff, right? 7. Crypto Mom has been absolutely awesome to follow. We'll take a look at her account in a minute. 8-Bit Base, one of my favorite. Gcash from South Africa, very, very involved in the Base ecosystem. I mean, compared to some of these guys, I'm a baby. And I'm hoping in the near future we get some great ideas to integrate Base DeFi into the SocialFi networks one way or another, but just a thought. Now, I wanted to talk about some of the top creators on the ZORA app because we have been on here for less than a month. And in a month's time, we have been able to we've topped out at around 30 holders, which you can see right here. Right? And some of them are holding just as much as me. Now we've only had about $700 or $800 of volume, so you can see that people are playing pennies. I am a micro cap. And I love the fact that you can trade content, right? I wanted to share some of my own life through here, along with we're going to start sharing some of our liquidity positions. I think if I go further back, I can find some of that. We got some memes, DeFi cards. There's one on how to farm low caps and ZORA. I plan on posting a lot of more short form contact in that near future. And what's so interesting here, right? So interesting is go this Saturday, watch my son play rugby. And what do you all do? You purchase my picture of his massive flags. They won. It was a great game. Last game for him. And we wanted to be there for him. So yeah, I made for quite a busy weekend, to be quite honest. But they're integrating SocialFi, very similar to Instagram. And I like what they're doing over on Base. Shout out to Jesse Pollock. And if the ZORA people end up watching into parts of the stream, open me up for the ZORA Live so I can start doing this on here. That would be great. All right. So on that note, I want to take a look at my top 5 small micro creators on Base in no particular order, although, right. And I'll look at some larger accounts too, just because I like their stuff. So let's start with a couple of those. This is an excellent streaming account, late night on Base. It's a really good one to kind of get the flow of what's going on in the ecosystem. They got an excellent setup, and it's great stuff out there. They're sitting right at around $1 million market cap. They are on a down. Been selling off a little bit, but I think they're here for the long haul. Here's another one that I like following is ZXBT. Does some really, really cool artwork, right? I'm not buying into that one, but again, if you missed the first video, you actually have to buy the post to be able to comment. And that's one of the ways a creator can earn rewards on this app. But this app has been a way for me to easily make a few $100s in a matter of a month, although we are reinvesting most of our profits right back into our token.
again, if you're ever looking for good content creator tokens on ZORA, you want to find those creator tokens that are investing in themselves. And that's part of the reason why one of my favorites in this space is 8-Bit Base. He's also the largest toker of my account. There's some really cool stuff going on. A lot of his stuff takes me back to when I was in middle school. Ooh, I really like this one. Let's buy it. Just a little bit. Dude, not that much. About $2. Oh, awesome. See what happens. All right. But 8-Bit, super involved in the ecosystem. Super involved over on X also. Good people on the base network, and those are the people you want to follow. Look at that. Aerodrome up 8% in the last 30 minutes. Go base. Hey, Crypto Cats, another great one we've already talked about. They got some good stuff going on their account. Fun to watch. There's our Clanker token. Let's buy a teeny little bit of it too. I don't think I have any ETH in my wallet, actually. We'll have to go back and do that later. I need to put some ETH in my wallet. All right. Now let's take a look at one of my other favorite content creators on the ZORA app. She's a small creator. Hold up. And that is Gloria Sans, and she has been awesome. Very involved. A little bit of herself. Very much hyping us up on social media. So a huge shout out to Gloria Sans. Thank you for those kind words to my daughter. That made her night the other night. But this has been kind of the crossroads of both social networking and also crypto. I just find it interesting at this point. You see what my dog's doing? Or you're gonna have to wait a second, girl. I'm almost done now. Now, another creator, we're gonna go back into my token list. That is a fun one in this space. Is Crypto Mom. She's also been one I think that's been super supportive. As you can see, her chart also in an uptrend. A little bit bigger than me, but nice. Good stuff. Now, looking at a couple more that I wanted to share. Crypto Chef, he's kind of giving me some ideas for dinner at times. And he has a very popular account for a small creator. And then I also like taking a look at Crypto Granny. I love this one. So Crypto Granny will always sprinkle your account. Love it. Some granny sprinkles, right? Wow. And when she does that, people tend to gravitate and buy that post. So if you're ready to start creating, check out our link in the chat on how to join ZORA and get involved on the social fi. You can use this to farm the base airdrop. Now, next,
I did want to quickly talk about just a quick reminder of some of the best techniques and methods you can use to farm the base airdrop. First and foremost, you can use all these different SocialFi apps, ZORA, get on the wait list for the base app, start posting. Jesse Pollock, the creator of Base Layer 2, straight up said, create and build. That, to me, it seems like the creators of Base are saying, build for us and you will be rewarded. So that's what we started doing. But I still do it old school. We're providing liquidity on Aave. Lending on Aave. We are providing liquidity on Aerodrome. These are other things they could or may not look at. Who knows? But I want to make sure that my on-chain footprint on the Base blockchain is massive. Okay, absolutely. So let's take a look at any other creators that I found interesting. These are kind of other ones with honorable mention in this space. I already mentioned 7. Let's see. New one I just got, Matt Lannis. That was had some good stuff on his. Granny, where's the other one I like? Passed over at ZORA Scopes, which, obviously I'm not big on Zodiac stuff, but I thought it was an interesting account, right? Some really cool graphic artwork on it also. What I would really like to see is more educators coming on site, using these apps to educate the masses, especially about crypto and DeFi, and that's what we are going to try to do with Dad's DeFi Space. And I hope this helped show you how Base is trying to position itself to get the world on chain, right? All right, so we're going to take a quick pivot now. We talked about ZORA. I want to show us on the Base app. I thought I had it here somewhere. Maybe not. I thought I did. Nope, that's Farcaster. Where's my Base app? So I cannot access the Base app on the computer. I can access the Base app on my phone. But I want to show you kind of what it looks like, very much like Facebook. These are our Farcaster posts, and the same ones I showed you on ZORA, they end up getting posted here too. Creator Coin Alpha. That's good stuff, actually. Some of the coins and tokens. One thing that I've saw Jesse Pollock talk about recently that really got me thinking is he said, just wait until the meme tokens are getting partnered with good creators, right? A lot of these tokens are going to be able to use this to market. I could see a whole new market explode of creator coins that help market memes on the Base blockchain. So again, you can see some of the stuff we played around with on the Base app. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to onboard a lot of people, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, right? There's another one my daughter helped me make. We put this one on Pump Fund, 8 months ago, Katoshi, except over there it was Rainbow. This is my old crystal vault. So much good stuff on here, but enough about Dad's DeFi Space. I want to take a look now at these subnet alpha tokens I've been talking about. Now, we have done a video on this in the past. Let's close out some of these tabs. We got too much open. Now, the TAO blockchain is an AI infrastructure play. Okay. Now, I love the fact that the TAO blockchain was created much like Bitcoin. Hold on one second. So I need to finish. There's a dog out, right? Now, first things you need to know if you're gonna participate in TAO staking, would consider this moderate style DeFi. Some people might say advanced. It's definitely not the beginner stuff, but it's actually pretty easy to do if you read up on it. Now, do understand when staking TAO, you get converted into the subnet token. They are very much beta plays on TAO, so it can be risky. When we did some portfolio moves the other day, I am a little down on my TAO because of it, but I want to share some of my favorite subnets that I am bullish on over the next little bit. Okay. And right here is one of them that we've already been talking about a little bit. Now, this is one called Resi, and it is a real estate super intelligent token. And they're one to on-chain real estate data. I find this interesting. Very risky. And I'm pretty sure the TAO yield on this is 60% APR or something like that. But I am holding on to a small position just to be exposed. And there's no other subnet that is hitting this real estate narrative that I know of. And that could be a big deal, right? All right. Let's take a look at my TAO portfolio, okay? Now, we still have to make some adjustments. And as you can see, on the week, we're down TAO. More than I want to be. So looking right here, and that probably was from rebalancing from last night. Yep. Jeez. Enough about that. All right. So we're going to be staying staked for a little while. We made some bad news, but first and foremost, root is the same thing if you were staking TAO. It's going to be a much lower yield. Think anywhere from 0.5 to 3%. But it does help secure the network, and you still earn yield. But if you want to earn the higher yield, you got to take on a little bit more risk. Our risky plays are web agents, which is an AI agent, narrative play on TAO blockchain, Resi, which we already went over, which is real estate, and those are earning, let's see, 50% and 40% respectively. Bitcast, which we hope to become a member of. Bitcast allows or creators to create content on different aspects of TAO and then earn mining yield from Bitcast. But you have to go through an application process to become a part of their ecosystem, and we're still waiting to hear back at the moment. Void AI is kind of like the ChatGPT or Gronk play on the TAO ecosystem. Now there are others, but this is the biggest and the least risky, and you can still earn. I mean, I'm earning a killer 154% APR on this one. So I've been consolidating a little bit more into the position, around 27%, and then we have 17% of it in TAO Lend, which is a DeFi play. You loan your TAO out, 137% APR. We're gonna have to let this run for a few days, but I bet our staking APR is gonna be right around 100%. We're at 94% right now, and then hopefully we'll start earning back some of that TAO yield. And what'll be interesting is as the market gets more bullish again, these subnets should help increase the amount of TAO in our wallet. We're earning the APR yield, and as TAO appreciates in the USD value, it's like we get yield on yield on yield, and that is how you do it in this space, folks. And we can use that to stack more Bitcoin and build our stacks. All right. So I hope this stream, as long as it's been, has been a good one for you to watch, and you have taken some knowledge that you can use to improve your crypto and DeFi game. Please help support the channel. Like and subscribe. Ping that notification bell. Share this with anyone out there who wants to learn more about DeFi, trading, or base and TAO staking. These are the narratives that we're bullish on for this last phase of the bull. Remember to take profits on your way up. Be prepared for the end because it is coming. And let me know in the comments what you would like to see in future videos. Check out dadsdefispace.org. Go find us over on ZORA. If you're on Base app, add Dad's DeFi Space. Come trade some tokens with us. And now that the stream is over, I think I'm going to go trade some Clanker. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.